Did Jesus know or didn't he know? That is the question. Muslims and atheists will say if Jesus didn't know the day of his return, then that would mean that he's not God. And I can understand their point. And some will say if Jesus did know and he was saying that he didn't know, that would make him a liar. And that would mean that he's not God. So the idea of some people saying, well, Jesus gave up his mightiness and he humbled himself to human flesh, and that's the reason why he didn't know the day of the hour of his return. I find that hard to believe because in a lot of instances, Jesus is walking on water. He's raising people from the dead. He's telling people their whole life story. He's reading people's minds. He's telling the wind and the waves to stop. So to say that he doesn't know the day or the hour of his return, to me seems inconsistent. So even as a kid reading these passages, I knew something was wrong. And I think when you dive a little bit deeper into it, it seems to be a Jewish idiom. And what I mean by that is Jesus came and fulfilled these, or is coming to fulfill these 7 holy appointed days of God. He died on Passover. He was buried on unleavened bread. He rose on first fruits. And the Holy Spirit came down on Pentecost. And he did all these in order. So it's logically to think that the next step would be the rapture, if you're pre-trib, would be the rapture, and that would fall on Feast of Trumpets because that's the next holy appointed day in line. And then the Day of Atonement, which is the most serious out of all 7 holy days, is Jesus' second return. And then you would have tabernacles, and God says, I will tabernacle amongst you. And they believe that that's going to be the millennial reign. And I could see that happening, especially with Passover being fulfilled, Jesus dying on Passover, and being buried on unleavened bread, him raising from the dead on first fruits, and the Holy Spirit coming down on Pentecost on these exact days. So there's a nickname for the Feast of Trumpets, and they call it the day or hour that no man knows, because the rest of these 7 holy appointed days land pretty much on a full moon. So it's pretty easy to tell when that festival starts. The Feast of Trumpets, it starts on a new moon, and the new moon is black. It's a brand new moon, you can't see it. So they usually wait for a slither of the moon, like a small little slither crescent moon, to start the Feast of Trumpets. Because on the new moon itself, it's totally black, and cloud coverage and all these other things can stop you from knowing the exact day. So they wait for a small slither of the moon, and there could be a sandstorm, there could be a dust storm, there could be, rainstorms that could prevent, these witnesses from looking at the moon and telling you when it's going to start. So they call it the day and hour that no man knows. So when Jesus says, no man knows the day or the hour, is he lying, or is he telling you the exact day? I would be on the side of him telling you the exact day, because I believe that's the kind of God that I worship. It's a beautiful thing, and he's a beautiful person, and I think he would want to let us know when he was coming. The part where he says, only the Father knows and not the Son, I think he's alluding to some kind of wedding talk, some Jewish wedding talk idiom. And we can see this in other places in the Bible when he says, I go and prepare a place for you. If it weren't so, I wouldn't have told you that. So that's another Jewish talk when a groom is telling his bride that I'm coming to get you. Him and his father would go and prepare a place, a room on their house called the chuppah, and they would stay in there for 7 days, and when they came out, they would be officially married. But the father would only know. So back in the day, in these ancient times, and still to this day, one of the biggest things in the year could be a wedding. One of the biggest parties is a wedding. So if you knew a boy was about to get married pretty soon, you knew he was engaged, a lot of people would ask the boy, when are you getting married? When is going to be the party? When's going to be the wedding? And he would say, only my father knows. Because he wouldn't want to bring any kind of embarrassment to his father, because, the father has to pay for the wedding. The father has to pay for the bride, and it was substantial amounts usually, it was a lot of money, and they want to make a nice wedding. So you couldn't put the pressure on the father by the son saying a certain day, a fixed day, and his father couldn't live up to that day and bring embarrassment to the family. So he would say, that's my father's business. It's not my cousin's business. It's not my sister's business. It's not my mother's business, but it's my father's business. Whenever he decides, whenever he's ready, he's going to pay for my bride, and he's going to pay for the wedding, and he's going to have it all planned out. So I'm on the side of that, on it being a Jewish culture, idioms and parables. Some of Jesus' parables are more on the basic side, but I think as the Bible progresses into deeper stuff, is that when you get into the higher class and the more difficult parables, and that's the reason why Jesus said he's using these parables, is because he wants some people to know, and he doesn't want other people to know. So whoever has ears, let him hear. So God bless you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment down in the comment section, and hit that notification bell. Change your style.